Welcome back to Chow Time Pod. It's your host, Red. Got a video today from O'Shea Duke Jackson. He's back at it again. GTA6, portraying black women, twerking, and wearing bonnets. Guess who's mad? Why would they be mad when they portray women doing the things they do most, and they seem to really propagate this stuff on the internet? Most of TikTok, most of Instagram is of women doing these things. It's makes sense why it gets portrayed in a video game. Please subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. Let's get to that chow. It's chow time.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. Many people are talking about this new GTA trailer, Grand Theft Auto.
I have not watched it. I don't care for it. I don't really care for video games, and I've never really... I played the Grand Theft Auto series when I was younger, but I'm just not that into video games, and nor do I really care about video games that often nowadays. So.
And I want to talk about it because I don't really game. I'm the typical...
Same.
I like playing Madden when I played it, NCAA football. So I really wasn't the kind of Grand Theft Auto kind of guy or gameplay kind of guy. That's not really me.
The one thing I did enjoy about like just how they were able to replicate real life buildings and all these things, I always thought that was really cool. But other than that, yeah.
Right? But some brothers, they really like different types of game. Some brothers playing like back in the day Doom and all these other kind of crazy games. But in this particular trailer, there is some concerning things that people are talking about. And it is talked about how black people are depicted. Now, these are real people. They pretty much use their likeness, but you have black women twerking there on the cars and with the weaves and the sandals going crazy, and you have Pookies and Ray Rays out there, and they're looking at a mess, right? And you can also say that other groups are depicted terrible as well, all right? But when it comes to the blacks are very concerned, some of them, that they are there. Now, I've heard some people who's also said, like, listen, some folks have said this. They didn't like the fact that blacks were included at all. And I don't even really care about that. I want to care about how black people are concerned about how they're being represented. First of all, that's a great thing. It's a great thing that you think, you know what?
I think people should really care how they represent themselves and how they are portrayed in general. Like I said, Asian community is portrayed as nice, docile, wimpy men. It's not the greatest of things that we want to be portrayed, but it's not too bad of a thing either. Tell the truth, a lot of African American community is synonymous with ghetto and thug life type stuff. And a lot of people view black culture that way. Why? Because it's the most propagated thing that's in society. Gangster rap and twerking and sassy, sexy red, and all these people, they're just doing all these things, are plastered the most to everyone to see. So when people see this and they've never really met a African American person or a black person ever, that's the idea that they kind of have.
We should not be looked at in that way. I think it's great.
It's good.
But at the same time, if you are a brother and sister and somehow you don't like how Grand Theft Auto is depicting themselves, but you don't have a problem with how black women and black men depict themselves, then you need to sit down and you need to have several seats. Seriously, you need to be shutting the hell up. And I really mean that with all due respect. Because one of the things that I find here, that in the black world, we have a problem with how others depict us. Which, that's okay to a certain degree.
It's gonna be some spicy takes on this one. I do agree. I think the African American community is probably one of the biggest that have an issue with how they get portrayed and how people use things of their culture. Like when we create things and do things, it's okay if anybody else uses it or try to use it. It makes sense. It's how Asians view it is kind of a view of respect that we created something and then you enjoy it and you use it yourself. That makes sense to me. Makes sense to a lot of Asians. Where in the African American community, once you guys create something and it gets big, you only want it for yourselves. I've noticed that with the passport bros, and I've noticed that with just similar, when it's talking about women's content and this particular space, I get a lot of African American black men and women that always push back on me speaking on these subjects because I'm not one of you guys. But it's like, does that mean I'm not able to see or experience some of these things that you guys experience? Remember, I also see it in a different lens than you guys too. So maybe it's, a little bit of, he's a little Asian, but he sees it this way. But he also know he grew up with black people, so he also sees it a little bit this way too. You know, I always want to talk about my best friend. Like my best friend's black, and my parents love him. My parents have always loved him because he's when we had the gas station and I was going to college and stuff, I would have to travel back and forth from the gas station to college, which was like a 2-3 hour drive, depending. And my friend would come with me because he was my roommate, and he would go help me at the shop. And he would be at the gas station, helping at the gas station, stocking things and doing things. Why? He didn't have to do those things. This is where I think Asians and people just respect people when they do things without asking or just have the want to help out. So my parents love them. But tell you the truth, my parents are pretty racist. My mom, quite racist. She will literally I'm not trying to dog my mom. Please don't talk shit on my mom or anything like that. She's passed. So, but she would say some horrible things. Like black. You have black skin. You have black liver, as in like you're dark inside too. Like she said some horrible things. I admit these things. But it's also what my mom has experienced and seen in her life. We have always grown up in the ghetto or lived in the ghettos areas, and our businesses have always been in the ghetto areas. The gas station was literally in a place like South Central. It wasn't in South Central. I don't want to mention the name because you guys can actually look things up and find some things out about me. But maybe I'll talk about this story later. But yeah. So she's always dealt with a lot of very ghetto, very, unsavory black people, and she's also dealt with very unsavory Hispanics. She's also, because we live in the ghetto where poor people live, and poor people portray themselves a certain way. This is probably getting to a long rant, but, and that's all she's seen. But when she sees my friend, his name is Chris, best friend, she loves him because she sees him not like everybody else. And I think and my friend Chris has never taken offense to any of this because he understood. He's more of an academic. He has a PhD now. He makes really good money with Google. So he doesn't, he isn't that, the image of the corny black guy is my best friend. So it people just judge on what they see and experience. This is why it is shitty when people of your culture go about and just kind of treat other people badly, and then other people just experience that. It automatically puts that on you. This is why I talked about this before about, Johnny Somali and going to other countries and stuff. You really need to respect what they have to offer in their country. They might not operate the same way we do here. Tell the truth, most countries, most people are racist. Asian people are racist, white people are racist, black people are racist. Everybody prefers their own race and has some issues with other races. It's just how it is. We're tribes. This is how it works. So again, I'm not here to like try to like dog on the African American community. I make a lot of content on this community. Why? I think it's a great community, and your community has the most influence in America, the most influence in pop culture, the most influence in music. You guys are awesome. Like I love the black community, and being able to speak on it and share my views and seeing that a lot of black men are enjoying it and are like appreciative of seeing things my way or how I view things. Isn't it's just wonderful to share your views with others because they might not like think the same way. This is why I share a whole bunch of array of content creators. This is why I share an array of people. Again, it might not be me. It might not be the message. It could be both. We don't know. Might as well try to, tackle everything so most people can absorb all this information as possible.
But we don't have a problem with how we depict ourselves.
Yes.
Okay? And that's the situation that is very deadly for us. We know damn well that while we can say why not all folks are doing that, it's enough of them doing that. We
Yes.
know it. We've seen it. We got to be honest about this. Anywhere you live in urban black America, if you were to drive down the street and you saw people literally on the side of the road with gold teeth or twerking outside, I would bet that now it's something that you'd be like, okay, well, that's normal. You know, you go to Walmart, you see them bonnet chasers out there.
This is true. I hate to say it, guys. This is why I talk about it all the time when I see them come on camera with their bonnets. It is literally just like white women going out with their hair curlers back in the day. Wearing their pajamas and then their footy pajamas and, or not footy, but like their sandals and stuff going out. That's almost the exact same thing as black African American women wearing bonnets out in public. And I see so many women wearing just like the worst of things out there. It's not just African American women. Now they portray themselves a certain way. And now, again, women have portrayed themselves a certain way. Now most men just assume women are just 304s all over the place. Why? Because a lot of them portray themselves this way. A lot of them act this way. This is the same thing that people are picking up from the African American community. Yes, not all of you guys are like this, but what we see, what most other communities sees, it seems to be most of it that way.
You see this, you see that. Nobody is shocked. Nobody is shocked. Why? Because everybody knows that kind of thing happens.
It's true. Like, again, if you were to see a music video of just nothing but Asians with big butts and twerking, most people would be like, what the fuck is going on? This is weird. I never see this before. But when you see an African American woman do it, yeah. Nowadays, when you see white women do it, you're also kind of like, yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there. But see, the influence that the African American culture has on other cultures and other races is huge.
In black America, we all know that this is now a part of what is known as ratchet culture. Now then, we think it's funny. Some of us. Some of us don't want to come out and talk about it. No, we don't. We think it's cool. Now when somebody else wants to start depicting that, then you'll start saying that's racist. But then you want to move out the hood and get away from them same people that you're talking about.
Oof.
The same folks. I can't wait to get out of black America. That's why when you hear about the people who crying racism, look where they live at. Most of them live somewhere else, not in black America, or not around nobody black.
True.
Some of them is dealing with white folks in relationships. So we got to be honest here. And when
my best friend is engaged to a white woman. I think I've actually ever really, throughout my history of knowing him, seen him date a black woman. Tell the truth, because culturally, he's a lame. He was an academic. He wears glasses. Yeah, we smoked weed during college and stuff now and here and then. Not saying we didn't, but he was seen as the nerdy type. And he was an academic. He went all it. He only recently got his PhD recently, in like the last 2-3 years, and he's like 35 when he was 35. So the motherfucker went to school for another what, 12 plus years or so, like 12, 15 years just to get his PhD. I don't think most women see that as cool.
When these other groups play the video games like that, you see, because the thing about it is this: when white people sniffle, black people get the flu.
Ooh.
Which means that you can depict in this way a white person as a thug, and that don't tarnish their image.
Okay.
It doesn't tarnish how they look. But if you put black people out there, it tarnishes us because people feel like we're already at the
Oh, this is a very similar example that I was giving about the twerking thing, the Asian women twerking thing. Very similar.
bottom anyway. So whatever you do to us don't even really matter. That's how folk feel. And we need to have an honest conversation about that. And a lot of times we want to say, well, damn, you know what? That ain't me they talking about. They talking about somebody else. They're talking about your ass too. I want you to know that. They talking about me. They talking about you.
I mean, they talk about Cambodians. Like, Cambodians are considered the blacks of Asia. That's what I've been told many a times by other Asians. You know, again, Asians are racist against each other too. It's not just because you guys are black and your skin color. No, it's just people like their own kin. That's what it is. You know, and again, I've been told these things. Do I take offense to it? No. Do they mean me? Yeah, they mean me. But I don't have to take offense to it because I'm Cambodian. Yes, I'm a dark-skinned Cambodian, so yes, it's even speaking about me even more because there are light-skinned Cambodians that don't fit my complexion. I'm one of the darker ones, you know? So, yes, don't take offense to it, but understand they are somewhat referring to you.
Talking about all of us, because when they see us, they'll hit you with this comment. You know, yeah, bro, you know, man, you don't act anything like those other people. Well, what do you mean those? What do you mean when you say those other people? Oh, I'm sorry, no. Because somebody was out there weaving and sandling on in the rap videos. So they're like, well, why don't you act like the rest of your homies who ain't got no sense?
I admit, my mother did say this about my best friend. You know, when she first met him, and she was like, "Oh, he's not like all the other black guys," and I'm just like, "Ma'am," I was thinking in my mind, I was like, "Mom, that's pretty racist," but you know, it wasn't a untrue statement from my mom's experience.
That's what they're talking about. It's exactly what they're talking about, and we know what they're talking about. We know that. Okay, we know that. We want to make light of it and get away from it, but we know it.
And the other side of it is, one good deed does not outweigh a bad deed. That's the shitty part about how people view cultures, races, and everything. Once they experience something bad from a race or a culture, they put that on the rest of the culture. But when they've experienced something good, they attributed it to, oh, this guy's not is a little bit different from that rest of that culture. If you guys have noticed that, remember, so your good deeds hardly ever outweigh all the bad deeds that other people have done. Does that make sense? You know, and once you experience enough bad deeds, most people aren't willing to change their minds anymore. Most people aren't willing to, to listen to you anymore.
We know it to be relatively true. And we have to stop lying about it. All right? If we want the world to take us seriously, hey, some of this stuff, we can't be like, oh man, that's tight. These rappers and these chicks do what they want. And then when the white man come out there and depicts you in the bad way, now you have some kind of problem with it. Now you have some kind of hatred towards whites or something like that, or other groups. When you already know that hurts you. You already know, because let me tell you something like this, right? I'm going to tell you who don't get depicted like that. The Jewish community, certain parts of the Asian community, they know who to mess with, because there's no way All right.
Again, my community, Cambodian community, especially in Southern California, we are considered one of the most ghetto Asians. Why? Because the biggest Asian gang is a Cambodian gang in the United States. That means we are one of the smallest populations of Asians in the United States, but we are the biggest Asian gang in the United States. So yes, my people are very unsavory, we can say, and most people know this. Most people, not most people, other Asians know this. Other Asians look down on Cambodians because we are kind of the bottom of the barrel. You know how our country was ran and we became refugees and all these things. They see us as kind of jungle people. Don't really take offense to it. Kind of is what it is. But are they but talking about me in particular? No. But does it have to do with me? Yes, because my whole country, my whole identity, this is how people view us, right? No, nothing that I can do, any special particular that I can do to change that, other than to be a good sailor, you know, and be a good person and live my life more righteous, more, I guess, helpful in a way. But once that stereotype kind of sinks in, it's done. My people have been viewed this way for a very long time. And African American community is very similar, but it's a bigger scale in the US. For us, we're just in Asia, and we're in the US, so people don't really know or care. But yeah.
Certain protected groups, they're not gonna let themselves be looked at in that way. Never. Okay? It cannot.
Very true. This is this is a lot of stories on this one. My family, we're Cambodians, but we are the lighter skinned Chinese Cambodians. My family is very proud of Chinese Cambodian, and the way my family teaches me to portray and how people view you. Yes, people might view you this way, but you have to prove them wrong. You have to prove them wrong. Why? Because once you prove them wrong, then they're going to start questioning themselves and questioning their own thought process. That what I thought correct, or was it, oh, is he an outlier? Which is good to give them that kind of thought process, because some people have never even thought about it the other way.
Happen. That's why in Africa, they got a saying here, can it happen? It can't. It cannot. And that is exactly why other groups are doing so much better than us. Other groups are exceedingly doing great. Want to know why? Because a lot of us don't want to be serious. We don't want to be serious. Okay? We don't want to be serious. So then when we don't want to be serious, somebody call your name, somebody call your bluff. They got your women out there looking crazy. You might not think that's, oh, it ain't my girl. But then what happens when it's somebody talking about your wife?
Yep.
Or somebody that's playing the game, it comes out and they talking about your daughter. See, you don't think about that, do you? See, this is what we need black folks to understand. You're not even thinking about that, are you? Are you? You're not thinking about that.
Damn, O'Shea's going in hard, and I think it's kind of necessary.
You should be thinking about that. Other groups, when they want to be taken seriously, they are concerned about that, period. Okay? There is no way that they don't care. It can't happen, guys. And we need to be we need to be honest about that. We need to stop having an issue with that. We need to stop being unserious about that. We know that that is how folks are looking at us. And we have sat idly by for several years and allowed our image to be tarnished. Now folks is making fun of it. And then we want to call it racist. All they got to do is say, well, so you see, that's what these rappers are doing. On these videos, that's what they're doing. Don't you see what they're doing? That's them right there doing it. They're doing X, Y, and Z here. Then you can't beat them with that stick. You have to sit your ass down and have several seats. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. All right.
That was some harsh chow. Like I said, it was spicy takes in this one. Hey, some of you guys probably not even like my take on it, but again, I try not to disrespect anybody. I'm here to add value to the space. Black YouTube, Manosphere, Red Pill, whatever space that people put me in. I just want to add value. So please subscribe down below. I really appreciate that, and I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.